Yo, what's good, bro?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, it kicked us off, but I guess it go a certain amount of time, then it's kicking us. But we good. We down to the last part of the interview. Every time it cut off, I just saved it. So
All
I'm
right.
gonna take it and edit it and put it out on YouTube.
Got you.
So we good. You
Got
heard?
you.
All
Yeah.
right, so before we left, we was just talking about Philadelphia and New York radio. You gave me a good answer on that about the support and everything, and you felt like Philly accepted you. New York was a little tough, but y'all still did y'all thing in that market
Yeah,
and got some love. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Puffy made a statement years ago in an interview that Poor Righteous Teachers and Wise Intelligent was his favorite lyricist at one point.
Yeah.
Before the game went to shiny suits.
Yeah.
Did you
Well-
guys have a run-in with Puff? Did y'all know him?
Yeah, like kind of sort of, because he used to dance for Father MC.
Okay.
So we used to do a lot of shows for we used to do a lot of shows with Father MC.
Right.
And one time we almost got into it with him because I think somebody moved shy turntables or something like that. I don't know what happened, but he came back and his stuff was moved or whatever, and some guys from his team, we was in somewhere in New York or whatever, but Puffy used to dance for Father MC, who was on Uptown.
Right.
So we used to run into them, do shows and stuff like that. Puffy was dancing for him. So this before he was anywhere near like, the guy he is today.
The Sean mogul that he is
Yeah.
today. Sean Puffy Combs, the mogul. Yeah.
But also he went to college in DC, so he went to Howard.
Right.
So, we did a lot of shows at Howard. We did Howard Homecoming, stuff like that.
Okay.
So that was another place. DC, man, Mad Love, did a lot of gigs down there, and it was rough in DC back then, man.
As far as what? For Jersey artists, East Coast artists?
Just violence, man. You know what I mean? Like those young boys ain't play with nobody, the cops, nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that was the time that y'all was going late 80s, early 90s. That was the time that cats like Alpo and all them was in DC getting a lot of money.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So we did a show at a place called the Black Hole, and we sitting in the van, and we just, we waiting to leave. Next thing we hear, brrrr, and we look out. We not to the van, but right outside the van. We look out, a couple cats laid right there. You know what I mean? So we knew kind of like, yo, pull off, because we heard, you heard stories about DC all the time, you know what I mean?
Right.
But doing shows there, going there, and it got both sides. It got the good side, it got the ugly side, you know what I mean?
Right.
But we got love in DC, and Howard Homecoming was a big deal.
Right.
Because just it was dope, man. And Diddy went to school there, so he probably Wise had an original style, man. You know what I mean? So
right.
A lot of places that we went, would be cats out there, kind of like doing knew what it was.
Right.
Okay.
All right. So my next question is okay, you talked about Tony D, you talked about that. All right, no, what I want to do is I want to run down your discography, okay? And I want you to tell me which albums, hold up a second, I want you to tell me which album was like your favorite, okay?
Before we get off here, let me just give a shout out to my man, Neff 150. My man.
Yeah. Oh, no, we're going to close out
Frank
with what you got going
Brown,
on, but go ahead.
Yeah. Because I know they are cutters.
You said they what?
I said I know Instagram are cutters, so yeah.
Yeah. Neff.
All right.
Neff
I will make sure I shout my people out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So like I said, I want to run down your discography. You guys had Holy Intellect in 1990, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It seemed like that album took 2 years to come out. Because your first singles came out in 89. 89. So, Holy Intellect took a year to come out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then you guys had, the next album was Pure Poverty.
Yeah, but see, the thing with Holy Intellect, it was like by the time we put out the singles, we was already approaching the next year anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
So that, I mean, it was more so like months, but yeah. Then
so
Pure Poverty,
it was right on time.
Yeah. Pure Poverty dropped after that. Yeah.
Okay, so you got Holy Intellect, Pure Poverty, Black Business, New World Order, and then I believe you guys had some albums that dropped on some independent labels after that, right?
Yeah, we had some things with Declaration of Independence and some
that
stuff
came
like
out
that.
on that came out on what? Cha-Ching Records?
Yeah, Cha-Ching. It was a label I think a music lawyer owned. The guy was, doing our attorney stuff for us. Yeah.
Okay.
So
all right, shout out to the homie Keith Williams. He said he go by K Hall. He said he want to shout out all the gods. I don't know if you know him. You know what I mean? But he jumped in the comments. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So out of all the albums that I named, which one do you think was your best body of work?
I mean, you always got to go with, Holy Intellect, I would probably say, but New World Order showed the most growth.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because that was the first time we did collabos and stuff with anybody like outside of the city.
Right. You name those collabs. What collabs?
It was KRS-One,
right.
Reggae artist by the name of Sluggy Ranks.
Okay.
Another reggae artist by the name of Junior Reed who made One Blood.
Right. Yeah.
You had KRS-One, the Fugees.
Right.
And Miss Jones, she was on there.
Okay.
We had songs produced by DJ Clark Kent.
Right.
Superman, stuff like that. So that was like one of the first times we kind of we worked with other people outside of Tony D and me and Shaheed.
Okay. Now, even though that album was stacked like that, when you go back and look at the collective of all your albums,
yeah,
why do you think that you guys struggled to get that success of a Public Enemy or an X-Clan or Brand Nubian or something like that? Like, because that was y'all. That
it's
was
just
kind of like your predecessor, not your predecessor, but that was your competition at the time. But they seem to catapult, and it says when I did my homework, it says that you guys put out solid albums, but they never kind of got over that hump of sales. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They said Rock This Funky Joint is
Holy
like the only record that was like your major hit.
Your Holy Intellect went gold. I mean, after a while it went gold. I mean, and a lot of the other records, they sold a whole lot, but nothing like when it first came out, just boom.
Right.
You know what I mean? But over time, it did. Most of the records sold like big time. You know what I mean?
Okay. So you said Holy Intellect went gold, and
definitely.
then any other records after that? By the end of
they were selling like 300. They were selling like 300,000, 400,000 in between there. Like
that was good back then, wasn't
it? Yeah. They was teetering on that. The only thing with Holy Intellect is that right after we put out that record, they sold to Arista. And then Arista eventually sold to Sony.
Right.
So right now we're working some things out with Sony right now. But the thing of it is that, it's that New York factor. You know what I'm saying? Like that, and the fact that P.E. and them was on Russ Management. So Russell Simmons was working their record. Our management was right upstairs from Russ Management. So it was like connected to the same building. So sometimes we would walk over there, talk to Russ and Leor, at the time, because when we left True Blue, we was going to go to a Russell and them. We sat down, we talked with Leor. Then after we left, we felt it wasn't a good fit.
Right.
But it's the New York factor. You know what I mean? Just like when people talk about Jersey rap, they'll mention everybody close to Jersey. When you know what I mean, I know what kind of numbers we was doing, and I know some of those artists who wasn't doing those numbers, even though they was well known and respected, like we respect them. But people tend to mention the artists that they know and that's around their area. But we definitely was a major part of the golden era. Like, because I know,
of course, I feel
we
like
was
that.
doing the shows. We was doing the shows, and I know who was there and who wasn't there. You know what I mean? But I don't say, well, you know, you wasn't there and you don't deserve that title and you should be golden era. But I know Brand Nubian, Leaders of the New School, Tribe Called Quest, PRT, Public Enemy, you know, X-Clan, you know, LL and all them, they was already legendary status. I'm talking about when they were saying the whole golden era thing, these were the groups that we kept running into and doing shows with. You know, Ice Cube and Too Short. You know, Too Short was on that same crew. The Ghetto Boys, Yo-Yo, D-Nice.
Right.
I didn't see some of these artists that they put over us in none of them situations. You know what I'm saying? Like, so my thing is like, but you know, a lot of times if you present, then your name mentioned. If you not present, then your name not mentioned. And I think one thing we might have did that hurt us is that we wasn't the type to industry party and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So we would do our thing, do the shows, we would do radio and all those other things, but we didn't get in and mix in with a lot of people. So sometimes, you know, when you're absent, you know, they don't mention you as much.
Right. Did you guys do a lot of Yo MTV raps and stuff like that too?
Most definitely. We did Yo MTV raps, and if you watch, Ed Lover start asking us some questions about KRS-One, you know, indirectly.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you see me answering the question because I guess he aimed it at me because he kind of read my body language.
Right.
You know, so I asked the question, then I kind of looked at Shy. You know, Shy looked at me because, you know, they was in there doing their routine that they do.
Right.
But, you know, KRS has said something to the fact, if one doesn't know about the other one's culture, ignorance swoop down like a vulture. You know, and for some reason, he started asking us about what KRS said and how we feel about what he said. You know, and we was just like, okay, I see what's going on here. You know what I mean? But we didn't go to that. And actually, the girl from MTV shot Holy Intellect video. Okay. You know what I mean? So MTV shot that video. Right. But we did Teen Summit. Actually, I got a tape of us on Teen Summit and all that stuff. I just got to put, you know, back then we had the VHS.
Yeah, you need to get it, take it to a transfer house and get it on, put it on YouTube, bro.
Yeah. So I have some of the shows. I have some of the shows we did when we was on tour. I just got to get them transferred over. And you know, we did all of those shows. You know, actually, here's the thing: we had got New Artist of the Year on BET. You know, with what's the one guy name used to be on there? The older cat. He had Video Soul. The cat from Video Soul.
Donnie Simpson.
Donnie Simpson, yeah. So he, you know, had a little plaque and everything, gave to us. So they definitely knew, because like I said, DC, they definitely knew. I mean, they know because Naughty Tretz just mentioned, you know what I'm saying, like us as one of the premier groups, you know, during that time from Jersey and all that. But we just was in a different space, man. You know what I mean? Like, we just really didn't, you know, and I think that's why our names are not mentioned in any scandal or anything like that, because we just didn't, you know, we didn't do like that. You know, we was in the Source, all those other magazines, but we just didn't, it wasn't like, yo, I'm gonna go chill at Bus Crib later on. And we just got back to Trenton and
just did y'all.
Just did what we was doing, you know what I mean? They offered us one time to move to New York and get an apartment and all that. And we was just like, it's close enough for us to take a train, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And, you know, it was just, you know, we just felt more comfortable being around the people that we grew up with. Yeah, so, you know, I think that's part of it, you know what I mean? But all those names you mentioned, you know, we did plenty of shows with them, plenty of interviews. I mean, PE, we toured with them, you know, and I don't know why they never leak up and do songs with them in the earlier days. I can't figure it out. to right now. You know what I mean? Because but just during the New World Order, that's when we started kind of, doing different things with different people.
Okay. Any Biggie stories from Poor Righteous Teachers?
Biggie, nah, man. I don't really think I ever met Biggie, man.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, Big. All I know is that no real big Biggie stories. Shy did a song for 112.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that. He did some beats for them and some other people, but no real Biggie. I wish I would have met him, man.
Yeah.
I was sad when he passed. You know what I mean? That kind of hurt. Because he was like the big lovable guy from the block. Everybody had a Biggie. Everybody had a Biggie in their neighborhood.
Right.
And
we got Big Ooh is our
big.
He's our big.
Everybody got that guy
right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that kind of hurt. And then with Pac, he was like that little brother. You keep trying to tell to go right. But he in and out of it. He that lovable kid too. You know what I mean? Right. But he's still in and out of it. So all of that stuff, man, just really hurt because we was in Atlanta actually doing a tour in Georgia when the whole thing happened with Pop, and it was like, Shaka was on the radio. That's when he was on the radio, Ludacris manager at the time.
Right, yeah,
he was giving us blow by blow of what was happening, at the hospital and all that, man. And when he finally passed, we was in Georgia, we was in Atlanta, and the whole city was just down. You know what I mean?
Right.
We ran into Too Short at the gas station, and we was talking to him, and he was just like, man, just everybody just looking at each other like,
it's fucked up because even though you don't have that direct contact or relationship with a person, he's still part of the community.
You're still, you know what I mean? It's everybody. I don't care where I went. You know what I mean? I still met people like who I grew up with. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might don't know them, but you like, okay, you got an idea of like, okay, that's my man so-and-so. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, it was just a bunch of young guys, man, trying to do better than our current situation. You know what I mean? And to see stuff like that happening, like, especially like with Big, it was just, we just all felt like, it wasn't worth it. You know what I mean? And, Big, we lost a great one in both of them. They had a lot of potential. And I wish I would have met Big, but we never had that opportunity. We never crossed paths.
All right. So, I got somebody inboxed me and asked me today, what's your relationship with Wise? Like, do you guys speak on a day-to-day, or you speak every other month, or like, what's your situation?
Me and Wise speak maybe like once a week. Sometimes it's once a week. Sometimes it's 2 times a week. Sometimes it's once a month.
Right.
He's busy with doing his thing with Rap Snacks and running the nonprofit. Yeah, he's part of the nonprofit thing where they're teaching kids how to, invest their money, how to play the stock market, how to record music and stuff. So he's in that space. He's recording, more music. He put out a couple solo ventures.
Right.
But as far as me and his relationship, man, we always gonna be tight because, you know what I mean? We knew each other long before this rap stuff. And, we cool, man. We talk, every now and then. We avoid arguments. Our own way, you know what I mean?
You got to,
I mean, it's all love. Like, his kids are like my nephews.
Right.
Or they are my nephews, and vice versa, man. Wise is family. You know what I mean?
Okay.
His mom know me. His brother used to stay with me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we all like family. You know what I mean? Okay. We fight, we argue like family. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we disagree, but mostly, we agree about when it comes to our people. That's where our strongest bond is when it comes to black people and want to see us in a better condition, in a better situation. And I think we're both striving for the same thing. So that's the glue that kind of holds us together in our friendship from, like I said, since we was like 11 or 12. But, at the moment, we just all, when you start having kids and your priorities change a little bit, you don't see each other as much, and most definitely R.I.P. Father Shaheed.
Yeah, and to segue into Father Shaheed, being that you guys are an iconic group, and there's a lot of groups from your era still touring, still having fun, and still going out on the road. How did DJ Father Shaheed death affect you guys? You know, of course, I know that's your bro, but did it change something for you guys, or the mission is, you know?
I don't, you know. Obviously, you know what I mean? Like, the group will never totally be the same without Sha.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he wasn't just a DJ, you know what I mean? He was our brother. He was our sound guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, after Tony D, because Tony D was one of the dopest in hip-hop, period. He don't get his credit, and definitely one of the nicest to come from the Jersey area.
Right.
And he produced so many artists in Trenton, you know what I'm saying? So he's a major part of Trenton hip hop. But Tony, you know, Sha was that guy up and coming. Like, you know, I would put him in the Premier, Pete Rock, you know, Jay Dilla category. He just never had that one. He was like one hit away, you know what I mean, from that. Because he did a lot of the early 50 Cent stuff. And he did joints for Special Ed.
Wow.
He did joints for Destiny Child when they first came out. So he was kind of making his way, you know what I mean? And you know, he didn't really affect us as far as us making music. I just think that some of the ideology has changed, you know what I mean, as individuals.
Right.
So, you know, some of the dynamics of the group has changed, but as far as me and Wise, I mean, we always gonna be brothers, you know, no matter what, you know what I mean?
Right. Okay, to piggyback off of that too, just real quick, Tony D's untimely demise, did that affect business? That affect you guys' sound at all? Because people ask me that question too.
Tone wasn't working with us on a New World Order. He didn't do any production on that record.
Okay.
Right. So, and on Black Business, he did maybe 65% of the production. So, as we continue to record, me and Shaheed started to take over more of the production.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we was growing, you know, like everybody's growing, right? So, you know, I'm growing lyrically. I'm growing on the beats. Shaheed is already like, I'm ready. So the first single we did on the Black Business record was Nobody Move, which was a song produced by Shaheed.
I loved it.
So
that was one of my favorite ones because y'all brought it back to the essence. I think y'all was back in the projects in that video.
Yeah, Shaheed.
Yeah.
Shaheed, he started to take, Tony D was definitely the key to the sound of PRT in the in the Holy Intellect, in the Pure Poverty records, and then part of the Black Business record. But we learned a lot from him, just being in the studio, being around him and learning how to work and all that. And it was only natural, like, you know, that we started to kind of do things on our own, you know what I mean? And so by the time he passed, he wasn't doing a lot of production on the record.
Right.
So he didn't affect it in that way, but there was always the possibility of, you know what I'm saying?
That relationship.
Doing more music together, you know what I'm saying? Because we created, you know, some dope music together, man, you know, regardless. You know, once you create dope stuff like that with people, you know what I mean, you're always going to have that bond, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right, no problem. So my last question is, somebody inboxed me and asked me about the time y'all was like 30 deep on YZ's porch.
YZ, you talking about YZ?
YZ, yeah. Somehow y'all ended up trying to go retrieve some DAT tapes or something.
No,
y'all brought the whole projects to his house.
We didn't go that deep to not to YZ house.
Okay. All right. Okay. So that's we went and got the tapes. You know what I'm saying? We just gave them money for, you know, their contribution to whatever the studio session was, and you know they just gave up the reels. It wasn't no violence. So that's But we almost got into it with YZ though one time. He said some things on the records. Yeah.
And he came, you know, we wanted to ask him about what he was saying. and he came up to. He said he came in the projects, which that was no, that he didn't do that. He came. He was on. He was on Brunswick Avenue.
Right.
So you know what I mean. So there's some story out there that believe me, that didn't happen. So
yeah, Wazzy a good dude though, because honestly, it's crazy because
he's my guy. But
yeah, years ago he managed me for a year.
Yeah.
So salute the Waz. So this is just history.
Yeah.
These are questions that the people want to know.
He's a good guy, but that definitely didn't happen that way.
Yeah, okay.
You know, he came up there, we sat down, we was at IQ crib, and we talked about certain things on the lyrics, and he was saying what he was saying. I didn't believe him. You know what I mean? So I got up and I left. You know, I think Wise and them sat there and they kept talking to him or whatever. And you know, I don't wanna speak on, you know, where I went, but I left, and then when I got back they wasn't there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because, you know, I was just in that space. During that time, I was in that space.
You seem like the bully of the group.
Nah. It's just that Dolly Holmes, Devon Land, at that time, there was a code.
Right.
There was a code, and you didn't come through there like that. Just like you said, Roger Gardens, you know, Miller Homes.
Yeah.
Wilbur Section.
Yeah.
You know, all them places, you didn't come through there, you know, talking about what you gonna do and this and that. You know what I'm saying? So it was what it, you know, it was what it was, you know what I'm saying? And you know, my mind state at that time, I'm glad I matured a lot from that, and you know, but we, you know, the people that I hung out with, they weren't going for that. I couldn't go back. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't, you know, go back and say I let somebody come around here and do what they wanted to do. You know what I mean? So that wasn't true. We talked, it was mutual, we pieced it up, everything was cool. Okay. And from there, like I said, we all just did music together. We all did what we did, because if we wasn't tight like a family like that, then we could be on the road or whatever, and whatever could happen. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and it's not no tough guy stuff. It's none of that. It's just that we didn't have those kind of problems. You know what I'm saying? You know, a couple times we did, and we had people with us, and, you know, it was whatever. But that wasn't our MO. But at the same time, people saying that this person came in, we ain't go to nobody's house like that, man.
Yeah. Honestly, I've seen that on the internet. That's a print from an interview.
Yeah.
I guess they was interviewing y'all, and it was like niggas was tearing the screen off. I don't know.
No, they talking about Tony D.
Oh, okay.
They talking about Tony.
All right, so that was so correction. That was y'all went to Tony D house like that.
So,
yo, it's all good. Listen, we reached the end of the interview, man. So I want you to tell everybody that's been on this live and been rocking with us currently everything in a nutshell with what you got going on now. I see you dropping video after video. You're still inspired to do music. So just talk to the people and tell them what you have going on currently right now.
Well, me and F-150 been working on this EP, and we've been slowly dropping videos off the EP. The joint that we got out right now is called A Real Hip.
Just say my name, but regardless, it still comes out the same. Straight flames, we changed the game when we came through. And if it's not the same, then yo, I blame you lame dudes. They be trying to make pop hits. Man, come on now, stop the nonsense. We've been in it for a whole minute. And yo, you're not a DJ if you don't spin it with no limits. We giving you facts, it's like that. With Trenton on my back, I'ma show these people where it's at. The Garden State, your God is great.
It's just, you know, a couple guys from way back, you know what I mean, that still love rapping, still love doing what we do. And, you know, he stays in Atlanta. He stays about 4.5 hours away from me. So sometimes I dip down there and we shoot videos and stuff like that. And he shoot me beats and we get on them right. I lay my stuff, he lay his, I send it back to him. And we just, you know, just working that way, man, you know. I'm still producing beats and stuff like that because, as you know, once you got it in you, you know what I mean? You just, that's what you're going to do. And I mean, you know, I'm chefing it up right now. You know, that's my other passion. You know what I mean?
Right.
Cooking. So right now, I'm the head catering chef for Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee. So this coming the 22nd, the presidential debates, I'll be preparing the food for that. Me and a couple of other local chefs. And, you know, I'm just, you know, doing my thing, man, living life, you know, loving my family. I'm finished raising them right now. You know, I'm just kind of like giving them advice at this point. But just, man, trying to enjoy life, man. You know, we just did this thing, this internet mentoring thing with Bruce Boyd for, you know, young people in Trenton. And, you know, some young folks that's incarcerated right now, you know, trying to lead them on the right path. So right now, man, I'm just, you know, trying to just, you know, kick back and put some things together, man. Like, you know, as you see in the back, you got the code-free, official code-free, which I'm wearing right now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Where can they get that merch at?
They can go on, hold on, man. My wife put it down here. It's www.code-freecollection.com. You can go on there and, you know, get yourself a pullover, a jersey, or whatever, you know, a hat.
Right.
And, you know, stuff like that, man. I'm just, you know, just enjoying life, man, you know.
Okay.
You know, waiting on them grandkids to come, you know.
Right. Now, my last question. A lot of people say that they see that you've embraced the gray. You're wearing it like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
So you're not one of them cats that say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and Beijing this thing and take 10 years off.
Yeah, man. You know what? I'm going to tell you, man. I dyed my beard one time, man. And when I was the first time I went back to Jersey to visit, you know what I mean? And I had it cut low, and I put that stuff in there, man. And by like the third day, you see like little braids popping all out. Like that. I was like, man, I can't keep brushing that stuff in there and all that. I was just like, I mean, it is what it is at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but let's just say this. Let's say if they did a reunion for all the hottest groups from the 90s and they said, we bringing PRT back with Brand Newbie and all that, would you hit the Beijing for the awards?
Nah, man. I don't know, man. You know, like I cut it down, I cut it off, but now I kind of feel naked without it, man. I might take it down, but you know, it is what it is at this point.
The salt and pepper is in, though. I'm just telling you. Like, you know, in this industry, we it's a lot of people that always want to preserve the youth. You know what I'm saying? They want to preserve that youthful look because they're afraid that people may see him and say, "Oh man, he aged, man. It's over for him." You know how it is.
See, but you know, my thing is I'm trying to grow older gracefully, man. You know how it is with a lot of older cats. They still want to be out there with the young boys and you know, do that thing and holler at the young girls and all that, man. I see where that go out. You know what? You put a post out a little while ago and had me cracking up when you was talking about the older guys to pull up to the high school and all that.
Oh man, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, man. I ain't one of them dudes, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I know how that story goes. You know what I mean? So
you remember that? You went to the high, right?
Yeah.
So I know if you was at the high, you seen the drug dealer. He 36. The girl you got a crush on is in 12th grade. She's 17. Yeah. She jumping in his little Subaru. You like?
Man, I almost got into it with this older guy one time over that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, he out here flossing, talking about, I was like, yo, man, so, you know, I talked slick to him. He was like, man, listen, young boy, you know, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And, you know, I'm like, man, you know, it was crazy. But, you know, my thing is, man, I let the young guys live, man. I let them do their thing, man, because one thing I know, man, you can't be out there trying to lord over those young guys. You know what I'm saying? You got to let them grow. And you got to let them do their thing. You know, I know how it was when the older guys came out there with us, trying to lord over us and do all this. Eventually, we got together. And,
to get them out of there.
Yeah.
Y'all
so, you know,
y'all had your time.
When I'm done with that, I'm done with it. You know what I'm saying? And all I have is advice if you want it. You know what I mean? If not, you know, you'll figure it out one way or the other.
Right. Well, Culture Freedom, man. thank you for this stellar interview, man. Like,
yeah.
I never anticipated. I only have 2 pages. I didn't anticipate we would go this long. But I'm going to chop up the segments in like part 1, part 2, part 3.
Yeah. And
we're going to give it to the people, man, because you've put to bed a lot of rumors. You've addressed a lot of things that a lot of people didn't know about the iconic group Poor Righteous Teachers, man. And I appreciate that,
man. Shout out to everybody. Don Black, Big O, Word Life Records, Cali Cal, Net 150. You know, everybody, man. You know, hey, listen, you know, stick together, man. You know, it's you know, it's more power in numbers. You know, everybody is enough for everybody, man.
And that's what it is. You know what I mean? But right now, man, you know, you guys still hold the record right now of being the only group signed from Trenton, New Jersey, and this is going on 20-something years. I'm not talking about everybody had a stint. I had a small stint with Atlantic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, Ooh got a situation with Jadakiss. You know, Black Prince, you know, Don Black was signed to Rough House and, you know, running around with doo-wop and, you know, so everybody has had the flash in the pan success.
Yeah.
But you guys still hold the title of having the career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
4 or 5 albums. Y'all rubbed shoulders with those who you know, who went platinum, and y'all got, you know, y'all have friendships and relationships with artists that a lot of us grew up on and loved. So I'm saluting you for that, man. And anytime Trenton is brought up, you guys have a staple in the city, man. So this meant more than any other interview I did, is to sit with you brothers, man.
Appreciate
and give
that.
y'all flowers.
Hey, man, and enough respect to you, man, and everybody else, man. I appreciate your grind, man. I love your grind. Keep on grinding, man. Keep on doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? And keep on bringing people together. I see you doing that, man. You making sure everybody get together, do songs together, and collab together, man, and show each other love. So keep that grind up, man. You know what I'm saying?
And it's crazy you said that, because you see I put Wise on a record with Tretch.
Yeah, yeah.
And Do It All from the Lords.
Exactly.
Like, that was special to me to have Poor Righteous Teachers representing Naughty by Nature and Lords of the Underground on one record with me.
Exactly. Like, and see, that's what we did with the record. The real ish is we had Omar Superstar, who was a guy that I grew up listening to, and then we had Don Black, somebody from your generation.